So after watching that finale, I think I'm ready to unabashedly say Severance is the best show in television history. And I'm just not hearing any arguments about it. So we get to see in the beginning of this episode this conversation between Outie Mark and Any Mark, which what other show can you even have a conversation like that? None. And I have said in previous videos that I think that Dan Erickson and Ben Stiller had to have studied plantation life in the creation of this show, because when Outie Mark says to Any Mark, Lumen told me that innies are happy, and I created you because I was grieving because I had lost my wife, and I basically needed an escape from that, and that's why I created you. When I heard Lumen told me innies were happy, what it immediately made me think of is this idea that enslavers tried to perpetuate, which was that enslaved people were happy. They need guidance and they need to be told what to do and restraint, and they're happy. And that's where the concept of the Sambo comes from. That's where the concept of the smiling Aunt Jemima comes from. So that's immediately what I thought about when I heard that. So we get to see this conversation, and what this whole season has been working up to is this idea of the innies establishing themselves and saying, our life matters too. Even though we literally only exist on one floor of this building, not even the whole building, one floor of it is the only place where we exist, we matter. So I really enjoyed seeing that conversation, that back and forth. And I have seen Adam Scott in other things, but this is the role that stands out to me of his. And that scene, I don't know if they filmed like all the Outie scenes and then all the Any scenes, but just to be able to go back and forth so quickly, Adam Scott is a phenomenal actor. Everybody on this show who is severed is a phenomenal actor or actress, because to be able to transition so quickly like that is incredible. Okay, so if you watch the kind of behind the scenes at the end of this episode, you will hear Dan Erickson say how something he loves in this episode is that you get to see 4 different dynamics between Gemma and Mark in succession. And that's one of my favorite things about the episode as well. So you get to see, you have Outie Mark meets one of Gemma's innies when she's in the Cold Harbor room. She walks out of the room, you get to see both of their Outies are together in that hallway, and they rejoice, they see each other, they hug, they kiss. It's a beautiful moment. Then they get on the elevator goes up. Now you have Miss Casey, Any Mark. Any Mark knows, okay, I got to get her out. They run to the hallway. He tells her, you got to walk out this door, you got to get out. She gets out, and then now you've got Outie, Gemma, and Any Mark. And Mark is looking at this, Any Mark is looking at this woman, and Gemma is not Any Mark's wife. And so he's looking at her, and he's just kind of like, I don't have any feelings for this person. And if you think about, Outie Mark was willing to do anything, was willing to risk his life to reintegrate, to just see his wife again. And for Any Mark, it's the same, because now that Gemma is out, we have no idea what's going to happen with Lumen. And because we have no idea what's going to happen with Lumen, Any Mark is like, listen, if these are the last 20 minutes that I'm going to exist, I want to have them with Helly. I'm not going to give up what's left of my life for Outie Mark. And like I said, this whole season has been about the innies establishing that their lives matter and their independence. And so when I saw Outie Audi, Gemma, and Audi Mark in that hallway together and reunite in that beautiful moment, as they're kind of running down the hall, I'm realizing they can't be together for good. Because if they are, the conflict that we as audience members care about the most will be resolved. And the show will basically be over if they're together. So in that moment, I knew, okay, something's going to happen where they're not going to be together. And I think for any Mark to choose himself and to choose his love is a beautiful way and a really intelligent way to do that, to make sure that the conflict still exists. And I think something else that's so phenomenal about this show is really you have this love story. And it's a love story of two versions of the same person. Obviously, Audi Mark loves Gemma, but Annie Mark loves Helly. And both of them decided to do whatever it took, whatever they needed to do to have their love. And I think that that's something really powerful and really beautiful. So this was an absolutely phenomenal finale. And I can't wait to see what they do for season 3. Officially, it hasn't been greenlit yet, but I'm sure it will be because this show is too popular and makes too much money. So let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you for season 3.